Watch along with you.
Hello and welcome to the October Axanar update. Now, first of all, I want to thank everyone who watched our last update, which was August. We had over 40,000 views of that update. And obviously, everyone's really excited that we're finally approaching the finish line to Axanar. So here's what's going on. We are, as we've talked about, in post-production right now. We have 19 actors in the can. We finished principal photography earlier this year, and we're really excited about it because getting all those actors done on set, makeup, you name it, is just a lot of work, but that's all done. So where are we right now? Well, we are deep in the middle of post-production. That means the visual effects teams are working away. They have finished pre-visualization for episode 4 and are deep into previs on episode 5. Episode 5, we're still getting previs. And of course, episode 5 is the final battle of Axanar. So there's big, epic space battle shots with dozens and dozens of ships. So that's where a lot of the work on VFX is. We've started compositing all the green screen backgrounds. So actors were shot on green screen. They're developing the background, say the Klingon background or the Vulcan background. Got multiple backgrounds for Starfleet. So as opposed to what we were doing back on Prelude to Axanar, these now we're using AI to generate multiple concepts and then picking the best ones for the image at hand. That's going great. We're really excited about that. There was a big delay in that because the company that was supposed to do all that, they decided they wanted to charge us. And we said, no, thank you. And fortunately, we got a great compositor, just kind of fell in our lap the day before that even happened. So that's going really well. Mark Edward Lewis is working on sound design. Now, Mark did all the sound design for Prelude to Axanar. And hopefully you've watched that because his work is just amazing. So Mark is deep into working on the sound design of all the ships and everything that goes into the next 2 episodes. And finally, the music is being done. We have a rough edit of both episodes, and we keep modifying and adding to it. And as finished shots come, they get integrated, and it's looking amazing. Last month, we did a little preview showing the rough cut here on the bridge of the USS Ares to kind of a small group of volunteers and donors who've been with us, loyally supporting us. And it was about a dozen or so that came and watched, and we showed them on the big screen here on the bridge the next 2 episodes. And it was a huge hit. Everyone loved it. And we had no visual effects. We had no green screen compositing. We had no sound design. And still, everyone loved what they saw. So that's where we are. We're kind of like on the 20-yard line. We've been marching down the field for the past 10 years, and most of the work's done. Now, it's all post-production, but you know what? It's all in our control. We're not worried about bringing in more actors or raising more money or anything like that. And we know exactly what needs to happen, and it's all happening. So the big question, when are we releasing Axanar's next 2 episodes? And I can't tell you, to be honest with you. I was hoping we were going to do it this summer for the 10th anniversary, but there's just so much work that needs to be done. Plus, we keep seeing things we want better. We keep seeing little mistakes that maybe most of you wouldn't even notice, but they bother us. So we're going back and fixing those. A little makeup mistake here maybe, or a little edit here that needs to change. So that's kind of where we are right now. We're releasing a lot of stuff on our Patreon campaign. So one, I'm going to make a plug. Come join our Patreon campaign. You can join for as little as $2 a month, and you get all this inside information on what's happening behind the scenes. Not just of Axanar, other projects we're working on, the future of Ares Productions, what we're going to be doing. We're working on our Orville fan film, which we're really excited about. So I urge you to go to patreon.com/Ares Studios, and that's where you can find out behind the scenes stuff. I'm really paying a lot of attention to the Patreon campaign now. and putting a lot of content up there. Usually every other day I'm putting something up. It's a new composite picture or a clip or a new VFX shot. So if you're really interested in what's happening with Axanar, that is a great way to stay in touch with us. And finally, the donor site that we've had for years now has been totally rebuilt. It's been down for most of this year. Rick Terzinski, the great tech guy who's been working on it, he's had a new job and it's just taken way longer than he wants. But he's updating it, and everyone will be able to access all their information as far as making sure you have the right address and everything, and email and your phone number and everything, as well as knowing the perks that you've gotten, being able to download all the digital perks. That should hopefully be up in the next month or so. I'm really riding Rick hard to get it done, and we're excited about that. You will all get an email when that happens. Finally, the email list. We're switching email providers, email service providers, because Mad Mimi, who you've been getting emails through for the past half dozen years, went out of business. So they sold it all to GoDaddy, and I just was not happy with their email service, so we're changing that. So you'll be getting emails through a new service shortly. And most importantly, you'll be able to manage which emails you get. Do you want updates on Axanar? Do you want updates on other productions? So there you go. That's your Axanar update for October. Thank you again. As always, we appreciate your patience. You guys have been awesome. And all I can say is live long and prosper.
After 4 years of war, the final battle was here. We brought our best to face our enemy. We brought our ships, our people, our ingenuity, our courage. But the Klingons brought something more. They brought Leviathans. The Klingons had unleashed their dreadnought, the D7, and it wreaked havoc upon us. And Karn and his forces were massed to end the fight in the most brutal way possible. And we all knew the very survival of the Federation was at stake. But I was not going to let it end that way. And I was not alone. When we have our backs against the wall, when we are outnumbered and outgunned, when the darkness is about to overwhelm us, that is when what it means to be Starfleet really matters. That is when every one of us stood up and said, it ends here. At Axanar. Sorry, I was muted there. Sorry, guys. Okay, hope you're all doing great. I'll repeat everything I just said. I hope you're doing great. Thanks so much for watching the video update. Stogie edited that one for us. He and I worked together for the past week to really, we really want to make sure our video updates are just a little more, have some B-roll in it, show you some different things. The last one was such a big hit. We have over 44,000 views on it. And then, of course, the trailer. Hope you guys love the teaser trailer. We have, geez, I think there's, what is it, 72,000 views on the teaser trailer right now, which is kind of amazing. Yeah, we're really excited about that. So, let's see. There's so many of you here. I want to thank you all, everyone who's here. Sarah Velez, thank you. Yeah, I think you're new here, Sarah, maybe. Zaza Ranger 5, how are you? Michael Sean Carter, good to see you guys, you too. Stephen Ross, Jeff Peterson, Jay from Stumblerock, Trent, of course, I saw Paul and Dale, my two trusty sidekicks at the studio. Hope you guys are doing well. John Peter Preston, how are you? Good to see you. Melissa's Legally Blonde World, how are you? Good to see you again. Everyone, it's good to see you all. So, gosh, we're, as I say in the update, we are deep in post-production, and the messages are flying all over the place. So it's really, really great. It's great to see everyone work. Right now, it's really, thank God Dana Wagner retired, because we're giving him so much work to do right now. But he's so good. He does, he picks up the ball and runs with it. And there's we don't have to worry about what he's doing. It's not like he needs adult supervision. He's so good. So he did the background. He did the Klingon backgrounds already finished, and he showed us some work he's doing on rotoscoping, some makeup mistakes. It's things are really taking off. Had a great conversation with Dave Lanyon, our executive producer, who basically funded this whole thing along with Goodney Goodnesson. They're real excited. They're very excited about everything that's happening. Dale says, pleaser trailer, not teaser trailer. The funny thing, about half a dozen people are like, don't like the fact that you see all the Ares class show up at the end. They're like, oh, that's a cut and paste fleet, like in Picard, and blah, blah, blah. You know what? I thought it was so cool that we just see it like a dozen Ares class ships show up. And Mark did a great job with the sound mix. Just great. I love that punchy sound when they show up. It's really awesome. So I was like, that shot when you see the Ares and then they all start popping in, it gives me chills. So hopefully you guys like it. Sarah, this is Sarah's first live stream. We'll say hi to Sarah. It's good to see you. And listen, first of all, I hope everyone, if you're in Florida, I hope you've gotten through the hurricanes okay. I know we have lots of friends. My whole family's in Tampa, so some of them evacuated and everything. But if you're in Florida, we wish you well. Good, Franklin. I'm glad you like that. Tongy Boy, same thing, doesn't bother him. Jacob, you're right. I love that shot. It was so exciting. And someone's like, do you have any other ships? Yeah, no. Have you fucking been paying attention to what we're doing? It's like, go watch Prelude. There's lots of ships, and there's lots. As a matter of fact, a lot of the previs that I'm seeing, that I'm sharing, if you're over in the Patreon campaign, you're probably seeing, you get to see all the previs. As a matter of fact, let me just pop that up. Please join our Patreon campaign. As a matter of fact, we've had like 4 new people here the past week join our Patreon campaign, and I guess it's because I'm pushing it. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that I'm pushing out to the Patreon campaign. And listen, you can join for $2. You don't have to spend, $2, $5, $10, $20, whatever, $2. If, that's less than the cost of the New York Times on a monthly basis. So, join us and check out the Patreon campaign. It really helps. So, thanks, Glenn. I'm sure they're busy. I'm sure they're all busy. I mean, they're all in their 80s or 90s. I mean, right? Didn't Shatner just turn 93? So there you go. Thank you, Tommy. We are glad you did. Listen, I loved it. When they first came out with that, which was 2015, I think it was during the lawsuit, 2016, right? 2016. When Steve came out with that, I remember that Jonathan Lane was worried I wouldn't like it. What is there not to like about it? It's hysterical. So yes, thank you. I love it. It's great. Yeah, that's right. It was a different fleet back then. And we talk about that, right? We talk about it's 20 years before TOS. So there you go. Well, thank you very much, Sarah. We appreciate that. But yeah, you're right, Trent. It was a different era. We try and you'll find this out when you see the next two episodes. There's a lot of trying to place it in the timeline, and I think we did that with Prelude too. So obviously, Cage era costumes tell you when they're being interviewed, which is kind of meant to be like 10 years later, right? But when they're being interviewed, it's in the Cage era, which is 10 years earlier than TOS, right? So we kind of helping you place it where is it in the timeline. By the way, if you haven't, please subscribe and hit the notification icon, because that helps our channel immensely. And we really want you all to know about all the other videos. Right now, we're working on a video on the history of the Ares class, like how we designed the Ares class, how I came up with the design, how we put it down on paper, how it was, then taken from paper and turned into a 3D ship and everything. So that's the next video that I'm working on with Stogie right now. And Jefferson and I are supposed to be getting together for a podcast. So there's more to come. Please subscribe, like this video, and make sure you hit the notification icon so you get notifications whenever anything new is happening. We have a new email provider, and we just popped up the new newsletter link, which I'll be sharing with everyone. So stay tuned, and if you're not already on the list, I will share probably I'll put it down in the description after this, the link to sign up for our newsletter, because that's the best way to stay in touch with what's happening. And just, if you're new here, maybe you haven't joined in on the comments, which please feel free, join in on the comments, ask me anything that you want. Okay. That's really important. But we're in post-production, 19 actors in the can. It's amazing. We have an edit already, which I got to say is just it's awesome. And it keeps getting better because we keep adding more visual effects and everything. Working on the compositing of the green screen right now. That's really important. And visual effects are rolling off the production line. So when is it coming out? That's the question everyone wants to know. When are we going to see it? Relax. I'm not sure. That's what I'm going to tell you. I'm not sure when we're going to release it, because we got to finish it first. And then as soon as we finish it, it immediately goes off to the Blu-ray manufacturer. So we're working on that part of it as well. We're probably going to have 10,000 Blu-rays printed for all the donors. And then once we get those, we ship those out. So stay tuned. Don't know when it's coming out. It's probably first quarter of next year. I wanted to get it out this summer. It didn't happen. Sorry, guys. But, we're not, listen, it's taken 10 years. We're not rushing it. We're going to make sure this is spectacular. And let me tell you, when you see it, you're going to be blown away. Just like in Prelude, where you had so many impressive actors, 5 impressive actors and some other hack. This time you're going to go, oh crap. Isn't that the guy? Yes, it is. Yeah. We have a couple actors who are going to blow your minds. It's going to be 2 15-minute episodes. Glenn Harlow, thank you for the super chat. We greatly appreciate that. Alex, you took Trek to a whole new level, and thank you for filling in the missing era. Trek Gene would be proud. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Much obliged. I appreciate that greatly. yeah, listen, we're doing what we love doing, right? We're not doing it for money. We're doing it because we love doing it. Heck, this whole thing has cost me like $300,000 over the past 10 years. So, yeah. And CBS is still trying to bust me. They want, they want more money. Now, hey, by the way, and Glenn, thank you so much. We greatly appreciate it. People keep asking me about Skydance. There's a new sheriff in town, guys. I am hoping that they're more enlightened than the previous CBS Paramount crew. I'm hoping that they're smarter, that they reach out to the fans, and I think they are. Let me be clear. I'm a huge fan of Skydance. I think they're brilliant. I think they bring in a new sensibility. It's not old school Hollywood bullshit like CBS and Paramount. I think they're going to come in and they're going to do. I think they're going to do some things that are special. I'm a huge fan. I'm hoping they just clean house, especially the lawyers. So we'll keep you posted. Yeah, well, sometimes you go slow because you got no choice. Sometimes you go slow to make sure you do it right. Yeah, thank you. Yes, Jay, listen. Well, yeah, if you like Prelude, more of the same, my friends, more of the same. Scott saw it, so Scott is talking from experience. He was the guy in the center seat in that photo. So, yeah, it even I gotta say it's good. Now, it's good right now. We've got to make sure that everyone is just blown away, right? Yes, I've spent over $300,000 on over the past 10 years to keep this project alive. Thank God for Dave Lanyon and Goodney Goodnison. These two guys. Dave came in a year and a half ago, and he's a huge Star Trek fan. He is just my brother. That guy is just. He came in and said, "I see what you're doing. I see," and he did a lot of research on us, right? And he said, "You got a lot of people rooting for you." He goes, "And I'm one, and I'm going to fund you. I'm going to make sure this project gets over the finish line." And blew me away. It's just an angel from heaven. And he and Goodney have just been. They've not only given us the money to finish Axanar, but their enthusiasm, because they're both huge Star Trek fans. Their enthusiasm is just it's inspiring, and so it's all because of them. So yeah, I put in 300,000, but they swooped in behind me, and it would have cost another 200 grand, and they're picking up the bill. Ping asked a question. You asked a question. Hold on, let me scroll back. I'm sorry, I missed your question. Okay. That update video was done on. I'm not quite sure, Ping. That was Jeff Fagan, our DP, was up 2 weeks ago, and so he shot that. I'm not sure which camera he used to shoot that, but all three of his cameras. He brought 3 cameras he was doing some work. He came up to do some work on the bridge, shoot some stuff for himself. So he had 3 cinema cameras. So it was either the red Komodo, or it was the new Blackmagic cinema camera, or it was another one, which I forget which one. But it's a cinema level camera. That's why it looks so good. So yeah, so good. You picked up on that. There you go. Oh, that is too funny. That is Jay from you're killing me, man. That is hysterical. Yeah, not that I've ever thought of anything like that happening. But love you, man. Yeah, there's lots of in jokes on our bridge.
It's spectacular, that bridge. I swear. Everyone, Alexander, Lee Questenberry, James Simpson, and of course Dana Wagner, along with their trusted team, including Paul and Dale and you name it, have done an amazing job on Ares Studios. Yeah, I understand it's a joke, but it makes us smile. It makes us smile. So please listen, because we got 62 people watching. If you're new here, if you're not, first of all, subscribe to our channel. Please subscribe to our channel. That's real easy. We don't do a lot of videos, once a week maybe, so you're not going to get bombarded. Maybe a little more when we do live streams, but hit the notification icon. That way you'll know when the new things are happening. That's really important. And like this video if you would. We would greatly appreciate it. Because not a lot of you have liked this video so far, and we really need all those likes. So there you go. Let's see. I muted. What do we have? Only 38 likes. So for 38 thumbs up, and there's 62 of you. So some of you are slacking. Come on. Here, please ask me any questions you want. Anything. Yes, you can ask me anything. Anything. I do not know the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow, either African or European. I do not know. But ask me anything you want about Axanar, and I will give you my, I'll give you my honest answer to it. But that's what these things are for, right? They're all about asking questions, having a conversation. This is my office. By the way, you see, maybe you'll notice there, that is, there it is, Avengers #4, but that's the Alex Ross version. Alex Ross did this painting, which, let me show you. So he did that, which is one of my favorite. And this is like a cheap $20 thing we got at Hobby Lobby, where they actually filled it out and made it the cover of Avengers #4. Which I'm ultimately, right now, that's not framed. That one is. So, but anyway, I just thought I'd point that out. But this is my office. All right. Let's see. DP is your director of photography. Okay. Your director of photography. And so he's the guy in charge of all the cameras, right? He's the guy that's, making it look good. He works with the director. Now, in our case, we have two directors. We have a director in charge of the actors and the performances. And then we have and then Mark Edward Lewis, who's our editor and post-production supervisor, works as the camera director. So he's working with Jeff Fagan, our DP, to make sure it kind of matches up with what we need based on, say, Prelude to Axanar, right? Because we want it all to look similar. So there you go. What advantage other than the size did the D7 bring? Well, bigger guns, better shields. You'll find out about some of that in the next two episodes. It was just fast, bigger, faster, stronger. Drip drop. Right? So there you go. Mark will tie it into FASA and tell you and Starfleet battles and tell you all the technical stats from that. I don't. I just look, bigger, faster, stronger. It was the next generation, right? Axanar is set in 2245. That is the last year of the 4 Years' War, according to our calculations. It's also the year the Enterprise was launched. So there you go. Yes, Robert April was the first captain of the Enterprise. After Axanar, we're working on an Orville fan film with the blessing of the people over at the Orville. So yeah, we're pretty fired up about that. Yeah. Let me just see. I'm just scrolling back here. Let me just hold on a sec. There's a couple of you that I just want to. I don't have a producer tonight, so it's just me. So that's me going through all your comments here. All right. Oh. Hold on a second. Again, go ahead and shoot away with questions. Someone else, hold on, I'm just scrolling back because someone else had a question and I'm just trying to. All right. Would you be able to make a 10 mini episode series of Axanar? Yeah, that's not if hey, listen, if Skydance wants us to do that, we would love to do that. I'd really love to recast it because we're all getting a little old at the end of 10 years. But I look back at Prelude and go, ooh, I definitely look younger at Prelude. Yeah. Yeah, and this came out of the FASA, FASA games back in the 80s. And they're the ones that coined this term, the 4 Years' War. And that's kind of where we built this out of. We built it out of it honoring FASA and those games. So there you go. Oh, yeah. Listen, one of the things we want to do is put together just a massive documentary with all, because we've always been taking behind the scenes footage and you name it. Oh, you're very welcome. Yeah, my pleasure. I listen, I enjoy it, because this is what I want as a fan myself. This is what This is what I like. I'm the kind of guy that watches all the behind the scenes featurettes on a Blu-ray, right? So yeah, so that's that. Believe me, I love doing this. So whenever you see us do a live stream, please feel free. Everyone jump on. Everyone subscribe to our channel. Hit the notification icon, and we'll get the newsletter. If you're not a member of the newsletter, we just switched email services, and we just did the set up the newsletter link yesterday. So I'll have that up soon. Not sure what the format will be for the Orville. Really, the question is what Skydance is going to allow since they're in charge now. We're hoping that the entire, kind of the regime, the old Star Trek regime gets blown out the doors, the airlock, so to speak. That's right. Where it took longer to make the film than it did to fight the war. Yeah. Yeah, and this is one of the things I was talking about recently is my love for the film Midway, the original from the 70s. It was like 77 or 78. And it really, and my love for military history and fascination with World War II, both the actors and the actions, the battles and the warriors who fought. I love learning about it because it's such a different time that we just don't quite understand what it was like, 80 years ago. How long ago was that? 55? Yeah, 80 years ago, World War II. I mean, it's just shocking now. Listen, when I was a kid in the 60s, it was only 20 years earlier, so it was a lot more relevant. Yeah, that is so funny. Galaxy Quest. We all love Galaxy Quest. That would be a big project. Yeah. Midway was a great movie. I really want to do a fan edit of Midway and take out all the bullshit love story shit, and make it a lot more procedural. The new film, it's really interesting. The new film Midway that came out was really interesting. It was well done. I really enjoyed it. I saw it again recently for the second, third time. The thing that's different about the new Midway movie is you really don't understand how the battle unfolded like you did in the original. Right? This time it's just like a lot of action. In the original, you goes, okay, so our planes went out and, this one found the fleet. And this is where they were. And then this happened. And then this happened. And it's this, and then the Japanese had to make a decision. Do they rearm their planes or they? In the original movie, you really understood step by step exactly how that battle unfolded. You don't get that in the new movie. It's a lot more confusing. It's so I think it's a little more character driven, the new movie, which is bad. But and I enjoyed them both. Okay, let's see. The Jewish space laser was a project we just, we did it. We were going to try and make a web series out of it. And just because of the way things fell, it just didn't work out. We still could revisit it, although right now with the Middle East kind of blowing up the way it has, it's not the time to do it. So there you go. I saw Midway in the 70s in Sense-Around, if you remember that. Thank you. I hope that would be amazing, wouldn't it? There's Michael. Michael, how are you? Michael visited our set and helped out. He's credited in our credits. Absolutely. So funny. Waffle House. over the last couple of weeks, a couple of times I've seen, like the other day in the Friday, we're in the bank and a lady walks up behind us and she's in her whole Waffle House outfit, right? I think they got new uniforms because they're pretty sharp. And I love Waffle House. As Michael, knows, we broke bread over a Waffle House. So this lady walks up in a Waffle House uniform, and I turned around and I said, "Thank you for your service." And she laughed. And I told her we love Waffle House, but yeah, it's a great place. You're over in the UK. Oh my gosh, Stumblerook. Okay, sorry you have to head off to work. Oh my gosh. Excuse me. I'll probably be heading out soon. The people have been asking me about Farragut Forward. That's another fan film that just came out. The Queensberries make great barbecue sauce. So check out Farragut Forward. Brilliant costuming and fantastic sets. I really enjoyed both of those a great deal. And our friend Josh Irwin is shooting this weekend, the next episode. Okay. Talking about, I'm guessing you're over in the UK as well, because here in the United States, we don't say university. We just say school. Oh, I got school, college or classes or something like that. Over in Europe, you always talk about university. So, Jeff says his dad was born in 1941, just glimmers of memories of the war. However, he did tell me of his parents telling him that it was like listening to our speech on the radio. Wow. Yeah. The big, my uncle was a pilot in World War II. My dad just passed away, back in June, and he was 89, and he was the youngest in his family. So obviously I had uncles who fought in the war. My uncle, Angelo, flew, and I don't know if he flew B-17s or B-24s. I don't remember what he had told us, but he flew in World War II. And at one point, they sent him back to be they sent him back to train the pilots here in the States. And he said to me, I'll never forget it. And he said to me, it was the saddest day of my life. And as a little kid, you don't quite understand. Really? You didn't have to fight in the war anymore? They flew you back? It was the saddest day of your life? But I actually have weaved that into the next 2 episodes because I think it's a really relevant idea, which speaks to comradeship, right, of war. And I just saw a reel today with Eric Bana from Black Hawk Down, and he speaks to the same thing at the end. When he talks about why, when people ask you about why you went back, you don't owe them an answer because they won't understand. And he says it's all about the guy that's next to you. And I think that's really important. And themes like that are I think are really important to intertwine into Axanar. Because Axanar, as Star Trek, people say, oh, there's no war, Star Trek's not about war. I beg to differ. First of all, war is a setting, right? War is a setting. It is not a story. It is a setting for stories. And so in a war, if that's your setting, then there are war stories. But how humanity reacts to war as a part of the Federation is very important. And that's kind of what we're getting at. Yes, that is Skydiver. That's a Martin Bauer Skydiver over there, which I love. I also have a flying submodel here and a Nautilus out front. So yeah, I got a bunch of submarines. Okay, let me get there's a good book about that, is my understanding. Thank you very, very much. I greatly appreciate this. Really do. And again, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Everyone, make sure you click the notifications icon. If you could do any project you wanted after you finish up Axanar, what would you do? Well, I'm very excited about the Orville project. Let me tell you that. That's going to be great. But I would love to do more Axanar, more stories in the 4 Years' War. I really would. That is not, it's resin. It is made by the guy that made the models for UFO, Martin Bauer. That's an interesting point, Jay, interesting point. Yep, that's true. That's true, Dale. Yes. Listen, I'm a huge fan of all the Jerry Anderson stuff. I grew up on Thunderbirds. I kind of remember Fireball XL5, a little bit of Stingray, but then Thunderbirds was really a huge influence. Captain Scarlet, and then we got UFO, which it's one of my favorite shows of all time. There's lots of stories. Believe me, I've thought about it. There's lots of stories I'd love to tell in the 4 Years' War. Not just about the Ares. I'd love to tell other stories. There's so much to tell. Oh, excuse me. We'll be done with Axanar in the next 6 months. Is that 3 months or 6 months? I don't know, but it'll be done next year, or the early part of next year. Yes. Yeah, and when you think of great war movies, what do you think of? War movies are just people stories. There's just people in war, right? Great war stories are great people stories. there's not, even when you're doing, I call them a war procedural, right? When you're telling a story about how a war unfolded. And in that I would put Midway or Tora 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 or The Longest Day, there's still the story of the people, right? It's still the story of people. It's how do people react in a war setting? That's what's important. 2 15-minute episodes. Although, listen, Farragut Forward is like 50 minutes long. Well, that'll really be up to Skydance. The current regime at CBS and Paramount are just, obsessive. They obsessively hate us. And which is, why do they obsessively hate Axanar? We didn't sue them. They chose to spend the entire 50th year of 2016, the 50th anniversary of Star Trek. They chose to sue us. They could have resolved it with a phone call. Hey, listen, the top 3 people in CBS and Star Trek, the head of licensing, Liz Klodner, the head of CBS Consumer Products, Bill Burke, the head of Star Trek branding, John Van Sitters, all had my phone number. They all, and I bet it was in their cell phones. They all had my number. I'd been working with them for 5 years at that point. All right. I'd been asking for guidelines for 5 years. Any one of those 3 could have picked up the phone and said, Alec, we need to make some changes. But they didn't. Instead, they wanted to be assholes and screw us. Why? Why did you think they did that? Everyone else, they told to back off. Tommy Kraft just got a letter that said, hey, we can't have you use, making a movie called Discovery. But why did they sue us? Well, they told us why they sued us, because we were too good. It looked like it came from them. We basically embarrassed CBS and Paramount because look at the comments. Look at the comments on the trailer. What are the comments? Best Star Trek in 20 years. This is the Star Trek I want to see. Why didn't they just acquire you? Why did they make Discovery instead of this? We all want to see this. We embarrassed CBS and Paramount. That's the bottom line. We made better Star Trek for a fraction of the price, and they got stuck when they thought I was going to go away. I will just sue him and he'll go away. Well, no, you didn't know anything about me. Obviously, we got Winston & Strawn, one of the top 20 IP litigation firms in the country, to represent us pro bono. And so I didn't go away. We fought them, all the while wanting to settle it. They're the ones that dragged this out over the course of the year. They're the ones that made the 50th anniversary of Star Trek all about suing their biggest fans. And they're unapologetic about it. Why? Because they don't really care about the legacy of Star Trek. It's all about money. So there you go. Sorry, went on a rant. Yeah, JTech, that's right. I would love to do a fan film of UFO. Would love. That's exactly right. Lucasfilm gets along great with their fan films. They put fan films. I think they put Troops on one of their DVDs. Troops is the legendary Star Trek fan film. Yes, I agree. Listen, the big thing, I have not seen this Catwoman. And it's Alec with a C. But I haven't seen this. And they get away with it because look, Farragut Forward's released a 50-minute episode. How do they get away with it? It looks as nice as it is. Please, it's a wonderful film, Farragut. They do some wonderful things, but it's ultimately still a fan film, right? You can tell it's a fan film. That's what CBS cares about. If you look like a fan film, they don't care. Do whatever you want. You know, we don't look like a fan film, so we're competition for them. So that's why they're, you know, always trying to be assholes to us. There you go. Yeah, it's all about their ego. It was a bad business decision. It continues to be a bad business decision. If Skydance is smart, which I think they're very smart, they'll at some point reach out to us or, you know, respond to our emails or whatever and say, okay, let's figure out how to do this in a way that's mutually beneficial. Because we love Star Trek, right? So yeah, it's not if it was about money, if CBS and Paramount were smart, they would have we offered to give them Axanar. Give it. Here, take it. Just let's make it. Do whatever you want with it. No, they could have made millions off Axanar. So what does that tell you? It's not about money. It's about ego. It's about the fact that they're offended that we made such great Star Trek. Too fucking bad. Which Star Trek actors do you love being in your production? Any of the actors that were in Star Trek. I mean, J.G. Hertzler was, you know, he was probably the one that was in the most Star Trek. And so, yeah, we love that. Yeah. By the way, so many new people here tonight. Thank you. Please subscribe. Matter of fact, I'm going to, I think I have, let's see. I am going to go in right now and I'm going to put the newsletter link. Oh, nope, that's not what I want to do. Let me put the newsletter link right in the, let's see, I'm going to put it right in the show notes of the live stream, which I can do right now. So sign up for our newsletter. Okay, there you go. I just put it in the show notes down below. If you can, please sign up for the newsletter. I included the link because it's usually on our website, but I'm not sure Lee has hooked it up yet. So just click on the link down in the show notes for the newsletter. And that way you'll get all the news. You'll get the news about our live streams. You get the news about updates that we do, sneak peeks, things like that. If you want to buy Axanar swag, we give you the links to that and tell you about that. So yeah, there you go. Not a problem. That's absolutely fine. Which Catwoman do you prefer the best? Here's a question for you. Wait, we answered that one. I want to do a UFO fan film. That would be my ultimate, a UFO fan film. That would be set in the 60s, in the 60s style. That would be my ultimate. Yeah, a lot of people support Axar. Hello, Lombardi. How are you? You got all the good ones tonight, Jafum. Jafum says limo pulls up in front of Alec's house. Skydance executives get out, walk to the front door, and after Alec opens the door, offer their profound apologies for mess their predecessors made. At which point I would invite them in so they could, and I would let my dogs sniff them and tell me. Then my dogs will tell me if they're cool or not. Thank you. We appreciate that. Listen, the best thing you can do is subscribe to our channel, comment on our videos, give us a thumbs up. Hopefully you guys have all, how many, let's see, what do we have here so far? 67 thumbs up. Okay, good job. Thank you. We appreciate that. And listen, thank you all for watching the update video and the trailer and all of those things. We really appreciate your viewership. You know, we do this because we love Star Trek, right? You know, there's idiots out there who says it's all a scam. You know, they don't quite understand that we were ready to shoot a movie until CBS shut us down. You know, and they're like, oh, where'd all that money go? To making a fucking movie, you dumbasses. We were ready. We had a studio, we had sets, we had all, and CBS wasted it all. So, yeah. If Axanar had not been sued, what if the amount of supporters climbed only 2 to 3 times, and then they didn't buy a 1-year subscription for Paramount? You know, we should, if they were smart, they would embrace us because we love Star Trek. You don't hear me going out talking smack about Star Trek all the time, like, you know, like Nerdrotic does or Doomcock, who are just totally blasting Star Trek all the time. Not saying it's not deserved, but I don't do that. We're Star Trek fans, and we're good citizens of Star Trek. And so the attitude we get from their lawyers is just bullshit, you know, and it's juvenile, it's petty. And that's the best way I can describe CBS and their lawyers. It's like, leave us alone. Oh, gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. We're big cat people here. Right now, there are 15 cats in our house, 11 fosters, and 4 of our own. What were you confused about? Were you confused about the misogyny or the drinking and smoking? It's fucking madman as science fiction is what it is. It's hysterical. I don't disagree. And you've seen this. Terry Matalas, passionate about Star Trek. The guys who did Cobra Kai, passionate about Cobra Kai and Karate Kid, right? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I agree with you there. No, I don't think so, but wishful thinking. Would you ever do a Star Trek multiverse movie? You know, I kind of feel like Josh did that with Crisis on Infinite Excaliburs. That's kind of like the multiverse movie for Star Trek fans, even though it's a fan film. So yeah, that's kind of my feeling there. All right, so I put the link to the newsletter sign up. I love the new newsletter system, the new mail system, by the way. It makes my life so much easier. Hopefully you got the emails. Go click on that. Sign up for our newsletter. That's really important. Please become a member of our Patreon campaign. If you are not, you can become a member for $2 a month. $2. That's like half the cost of a coffee at Starbucks. So you support the studio that way, our productions, and so please go to and support us on the Patreon account. Right now, I'm posting a lot of behind the scenes stuff for everyone, and there's more to come. So please follow, do that. I have no inside information on that, so I don't want to comment on that. Yes, I absolutely agree. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. There's another story after Whom Gods Destroy that I've kind of sketched out. Which, yeah. So there's more coming. Look, it is time. It is 9 o'clock, and so I gotta go. It's Crystal's night off, so she just cooked dinner before, and we were watching Only Murders in the Building, if you haven't watched that show, is hysterical. So I really urge you to watch it. I love it. Love Steve Martin, Martin Short. They're amazing. The whole cast is fantastic. Selena Gomez. They're all amazing. Thank you. We appreciate that. Yeah, I think so. Listen, thank you so much. Yes, thank you. You all have a good night. I want to thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you for coming out and sharing the evening with me and commenting and all. We had a great audience tonight. This was one of our best attended live streams in a while. So please come back again. As I say, namaste. My respect to you all. Thank you so much for everything you guys do. You guys have been great, and it's really inspiring. We will keep you posted on what's happening. Hopefully we'll have a new video next week for you. Until then, live long and prosper, my friends. It's been a good one. And subscribe to the channel. All right. Cheers.